We live? There we go. We are live now. I'm interviewing Amy, this wonderful daughter of mine. And these are 5 questions. So we're just going to go through one and then we'll just talk about back and forth for a bit. I'm supposed to do a quantitative interview.
Oh,
okay.
I've never even heard of that.
It's where I think you ad-lib it. Like if you say something and then I could ask you other questions.
Okay.
Okay. If something comes or you want to add more.
Okay.
Okay. So it's like, what kind of boundaries do you implement as a single parent when you're dating, while you're dating? What would you do if you, with your dating scenario, having Kit and Kennedy?
I would.
Are there stipulations for them, you, the person you're dating, or
for the man and my girls and me?
Mm-hmm.
Probably. I think I would. I'd make sure that they knew each other. They were introduced and they knew each other and got along, maybe. And if it's, I don't know, because if they didn't get along, then what's the point of continuing?
Good point.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you would want to build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And just introducing them, you would get a feel for it? Is that what you're saying?
That person would have to spend time with us all together and kind of get to know us as a unit, because we come like there's 3 of us.
Yeah. This is a package deal.
You get 3. You get 3 if you get the 1. So
okay. Well, that makes sense, because you would want them to get along. But what if they didn't? Well, is it just a no-go, or would you give it time? Would you give it time?
I don't. Thank you. Kennedy is probably a little cranky and would maybe. Kit would love anybody. Kit loves anybody.
Yeah.
So I don't think there wouldn't be a problem with Kit, but with Kennedy, I don't know. I mean, she probably wouldn't love him, but she'd eventually, I think, like him. So I probably wouldn't just, because who I would pick.
What if you got a confirmation from the Holy Ghost? Kennedy doesn't like him. What would you do? It's a pretty tough situation.
I think I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go forward, because Kennedy is still Kennedy's been in my life for 15 years now. Mm-hmm. This person has been in my life for a few months. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and I've been doing fine 7 years without him. So,
okay.
And I don't think there's just one person for you. I think there's more than one. Mm-hmm. I think you just have to find a person who's willing to work as hard as you are.
I would agree.
Plus, I think that if you're praying, like I've been praying, that I find that man who loves me and loves my girls. Mm-hmm. And if that's what I've been praying for, and hopefully that's what happens. Because I want them to have as much of a relationship with him as I do. Of course. I want them to, maybe it's ideal, not ideal, what's the word?
Idealistic
of me, but I have this dream that because their dad is not the best example, so I imagine them on their wedding day with this guy, and having a relationship with him as opposed to their biological dad, which probably not the best. I don't know if that's what they want, but that's the vision I have, because he's not much in their life, so I find someone, he's going to be good. I know it.
Of course he will.
So,
of course he will. Yep. And prayers are always answered.
They are.
For sure. So the other ones are you reliant on family aid? And where have you gained your most support from?
Family aid, do you mean like financial or emotional?
It could be any way that you feel. There's an
Oh.
emotional one a little farther down. So this is probably monetary more,
Oh,
because we pulled questions. One person pulled one, I pulled one. That we all was just like, and mine was the emotional support.
oh. Well, I think that financially I used to be reliant on family. They didn't give me money, but they gave me a break on rent.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that was financial, but emotionally yeah, I think otherwise it's just me and my kids, so financially.
So where did you gain the most support from? Was it just from family, from the church? Where did you feel like you gained the most?
I think that it was from family because Nancy and Jim they gave me a huge break on rent, so
Mhm.
that was a big help financially. And the church didn't help too much financially. They helped a little in the beginning,
Mhm.
but I didn't ask for help a whole lot. They helped maybe, I don't know, about a year or so out of that.
Okay. So, do you think that that family aid carried you through?
Oh yeah.
And it was vital to that particular time that you were struggling and
Yeah, and also just being with Nancy and Jim. Nancy especially she's good at things that I'm not good at. Like she's a lot more not caring, but maybe caring about some things that the girls needed at the time that I thought was maybe not as important to
Mhm.
care about or be overly emotional about. And Nancy was there and she stepped in, and Kayla, when she hurt her head, I was like, Kayla, you're fine. It's not even, don't even need stitches. And then she shows Nancy, and Nancy gives her a big hug and like, oh, you poor thing, let's take care of that. She's fine.
Well, and then that's just two different people the way
Yeah.
they handle things.
Yeah.
Nancy's an actress. And you have to sometimes take that into consideration. She's been that way her whole life.
Yeah.
She's been over. But that compensates for somebody.
But because Kayla needed that at that time.
Right.
She needed a mom who could show the correct amount of empathy for her at that particular moment. And all I saw was a cut that wasn't that bad, not even bleeding. And so why am I gonna go off overboard because you're fine?
Yeah. No, I get it. I understand that. Okay. How do you provide a stable routine for Kennedy and Kit?
Well, I think that I do that by not being all, I don't know. Everything we do things the same most days. Nothing really deviates from that. Daily things, chores or whatever have to be done, and I don't bring people into their lives. Like they don't have lots of different people coming in and leaving, or
Yeah, do you feel like having that stable routine has helped Kennedy and Kayla through some hard times, or not? What do you think?
it's probably not helped them in some ways because now, but then in other ways maybe it has, but I don't know, because Kennedy, like if I talk about eventually getting married, Kennedy doesn't even want to talk. She says that just can't happen. You can't get married. We're kids. Like, yes, I think that'd be fantastic. And Kayla doesn't really care. And maybe if I had been dating the last 6 years, it wouldn't be such a shock. Where I think Kennedy doesn't want anyone else. She just wants it to be the three of us, and that'll be fine for her. And maybe she'd be a little better if I was bringing guys around more often. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be such a shock to her to think of me as someone else.
Yeah, so you think it's mainly a shock to her, or do you think it's more like it's just what she's used to, and she doesn't want to go out of her boundaries with that. She doesn't want you to get hurt again because you've already been hurt. You think Kennedy's probably is a little deeper because of her age of when this all happened, and when it happened for Kit, she was so young.
Yeah.
She hadn't really bonded nearly as well
Yeah.
as Kennedy had.
I think that's probably true. I think she maybe worries about me getting hurt, or, you know,
Yeah.
she saw how bad I was hurt because she was 10. She just turned 9 or 10. And so she saw the pain. She probably remembers a lot more than Kit.
Yeah.
But Kennedy's also more reserved than Kit. Kit just loves everyone and is just always happy, and nothing really phases her, where Kennedy is a little more cautious and a little more, she likes things the way they are.
Well, that's part of the stable routine helps. Maybe like the stable routine works better for Kennedy than it does for Kit because their personalities for one.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have that stable routine, do you think that more chaos would be in your family? Because you have the routine.
Yeah. And I don't like chaos. So
yeah,
I don't like it when we have to go do something at night that causes our nighttime routine to be pushed back an hour or so. That stresses me out.
For the interview,
no. Saturdays I'm talking like Monday through Friday,
okay.
Monday through Thursday.
Okay, all right, that's good. Okay.
Fridays are fine.
Okay, the other one, I don't know. There's two other ones, but the one is how do you keep financial stability as a single parent? Kind of went along with the aid, but are you finding that there's certain ways that you find your financial stability is better, worse, whereas you're single parenting?
Oh, it's worse. When I had a partner, I had lots of money. Now I didn't have to worry about anything. I had money in savings. I had money for retirement. I had no bills.
So do you feel stable?
Oh no, not at all. I live paycheck to paycheck.
So your financial stability, they are thinking in the tense that you have it.
Yeah,
so,
I don't.
And, right. And do you think that a good part of single parents have it?
I don't think a good part of them do. If they do, I'd like to meet them. Because the people that I know that are single and parents, they're not doing so well.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. It's hard. You have to take, I get child support and that helps, but it doesn't help with everything. And especially, I make more than like 2 times less than what I had when I was married. I went from like $6,500 a month to over about $3,000. So
that's still a lot compared to some people.
It is, and Nancy liked to remind me of that when I wasn't working and it was just $2,800. She said, Amy, that is more than a lot of people bring home. And I said, I don't know how they do it. How do you live on that? Because I couldn't, and I had a lot of bills, and there were lots of credit cards because that.
Yeah, and there's many people where I work who make less than that, and I don't know how they. But I'm learning in this sociology class about why people are cohabiting is for the same reason you're talking about, is because it brings in 2 incomes. Because people are so struggling, with a one income besides other things that they do in their relationship. But one of them is finances.
Oh, absolutely. Kayla told me to start dating and get a man because I needed more money.
Yeah, and it's that mentality of the newer, younger people like Kayla and like Minnie's, is that's the way to start a relationship is you do that first. And you see how well it works out. Then you can move to the others.
Yeah.
But, you know, as you and I both know, and we grew up, as you grew up, you were taught there was this order and this is the way, but
Yeah.
society's not teaching that anymore. So I'm going to throw in a different question. So, talking about that cohabiting, are you okay with that?
With living with someone before I get married? No.
And for your children?
Oh, no.
It's a hard scenario. I'm having to write a paper on it right now. So that's why I wanted to throw that in there because, you know, statistics are showing this is the norm.
Yeah.
This is
lots of
what's
people
coming
do
down.
it.
This is coming down the pike even
Yeah.
stronger. And it's the new living, you know, how it used to be living in sin and
Yeah.
living together. Now they've changed the name to cohabitation,
Yeah.
which, you know, makes it sound not so harsh as living in sin.
Yeah.
But
Living in sin sounds bad. Habitation doesn't sound quite so
no,
bad.
and that's just you know,
That's probably something they say to make themselves feel better about it.
that's part of it.
Because
Yeah.
they still know it's living in sin.
If you live in a religious society
Yeah.
and you grew up in that, then you still are in it. That mindset would be hard to let go of.
Oh, yeah.
You know, even for Mindy, you know,
It is.
you know, that would be because that's in your head, but yet you're doing this.
Yeah.
So, okay, so one other question. As far as emotional support from others, what have you found to be most helpful to you and most helpful to your girls?
Emotional support?
Mhm.
Emotionally support wise?
Having someone to talk with, like Nancy,
Oh.
that was probably a good emotional support for you.
It was
At
when
that
it first
time.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah, because you needed that.
I
And
did. Yeah, I mean, Nancy was a huge emotional support for me she was the first person I called when Byron said he wanted a divorce. I called Nancy and then I called Mindy, I think, or Mindy and then Nancy, but talked to them every day and for 3 months almost until I left. So to come here, and then when I was here, Nancy I lived with her, so it was easy to talk to her and see, say how horrible I felt that I was in this situation, but how grateful I was that she was there. But and then as the years wore on, it wasn't so much that I would do that anymore, or that I would talk to her about how horrible I felt having to rely on them. Then it was just fun having her around.
So do you feel that emotional support really was vital to you?
Yeah, and it was vital to the girls too. From Nancy and then Jim. Jim was there for Kayla, and Kennedy too. And all the girls, he liked to tease them and give them nicknames, and they liked that. And so I was really, and then just being around family, all of them, everyone that we hadn't seen, or just the support from them, and then even the Ward family.
So the emotional support from the Ward family.
Oh yeah,
your visiting teachers, or they say president.
Yeah, or the bishop, or just friends in the ward who I'd known for years, and then to come back, and they were just all very, I don't know, not helpful, but I mean, if I needed anything, they were there, and they still are. If I need someone to watch my kids or take them somewhere, because for me that's an emotional thing to have to rely on other people to take care of my kids when I can't. So, I ask people to take them to activity days or take them home from Young Women's, and that's a support, because then it's something I don't have to worry about.
Yeah. It's bringing up some memories for you. I'm sorry about that. When I thought of it, I thought, well, okay, yeah, I'd like to ask Amy these questions. It was Amy, Eric, or Mindy. It's just like,
Well,
I think Amy lives the closest.
I do love the clothes.
And then that way would give me a little time with Amy. Can always get that because we're both so busy. Let me stop the broadcast.